Hey, it is the RT Realtor here, Glenise Johnson with Artformhomes and eXp Realty. And today I have a special guest with me. I actually have two. One is this little one who refuses to go to sleep, so he is joining us today. And the other is the most famous, world-renowned, extraordinaire.
Really?
I'm just playing. This is my cousin. This is my cousin, and the reason I actually have him on today is because he's building his home. I don't know if you saw my video from last week. I just posted a video about construction loans, and it just so happens my cousin is actually building a house. I said, well, why don't I get him on the channel and we could talk about what the process is like? Because I feel like I just told him before we recorded that he is one of the few people that I hear talk about building their own home. And in this market, as crazy as it is, we need some alternatives. So I want to bring some exposure to this alternative as far as instead of just going and running a rat race to try to put in the best offer you can with 30 other offers on a home. So Mr. Kevin Briggins, why don't you start out telling us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into, this process that you're going through right now.
Okay. So thanks for having me on. Originally from Birmingham. So
Ooh.
yeah. So I am highly familiar with the Birmingham market.
Mm-hmm.
But currently I live in Auburn.
Yes, you're in enemy territory right now. Roll Tide.
I am. But it's not bad. We enjoy it down here. Like you said, we're building a house down here. So that's kind of how we got here.
Right. And I want to give like a little bit of an endearing background. The house that my husband and I are in right now it was previously owned by my dear cousin here. He sold it to us after he had to leave abruptly because he is military. And so, of course, in that line of work, you have to jump all over the world at any given moment. So it was an awesome little exchange. It made for a great transaction. So thank you so much for that, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that would be a good show as well, the way we did it. I mean,
yeah,
it was a win. It was a win-win for both of us. So
yes, a win-win. So okay, so let's talk about what we're talking about today. First off, why did you decide to build your home versus trying to just find another one out there in Auburn?
Well, as you know, this is house number 3 for us, and so we just bought our first 2 houses. We found them on the market and we just bought them. Moving over here, we kind of had the opportunity to kind of do what we've always wanted to do, and that's build our house. I mean, because we've loved both of the houses we've bought previously, but it's always, well, I would have went with this, or I would have went with that. And so by building, we kind of get to pick everything as we want it, choose the layout. And so we were able to choose everything that fit us instead of just trying to find a house on the market that fit us. We were able to go to a builder, have multiple options of what we could build, and then choose what fit us and what we were looking for. So
right. And I imagine that's like slightly different from what people may experience in like a new construction situation. Like I'm thinking with those, the developer kind of has like a template that you kind of have to stick within. You may get a little bit of customization, but you kind of have to stick with that template. You got to, from the start to finish, kind of design your entire house, every single. No.
So we did not go with a custom builder. We went with a residential plan builder, and nice. So we had like probably 15 options to choose from, and then within those plans, you can make some variations. And so it's not completely custom, but we felt like we were able to make it enough our own.
Right.
As far as choosing all the finishes, choosing. I mean, when you're building a home, it's a lot of choices to make.
Yeah. Yeah, but you did have that choice though, which is cool. Whether you want to do custom or kind of have someone that did have a template. Where on earth did you find this land? Because I think that would be one question a lot of people ask. Like, where am I find some land to build a house on?
Well, this was easier for us because, like I said, this was a subdivision being built. But I mean, if you're looking for land, I mean, just go to Zillow.
Right.
I mean, because I've done that because we thought about just buying some land and building on the land. And next house, that's probably what we'll do.
Oh, there's a next after this.
Never say never, but if there is a next house, it will be on the land and kind of the final home, and
probably a lot of acres, like a real big situation. I see.
Exactly.
Okay. So finding it within like a place that was already kind of developed, almost like a new construction situation, but it sounds like you have so much more flexibility with that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good builder. And I'll go into how we chose our builder. So
that's what I was going to ask you next.
Yeah. So of course we're going to an area that we're not familiar with. And so I'm on Zillow and I'm looking at everything that's out there. And I see these homes. Okay, I kind of like these plans, what this builder's doing. So I started to research the builder. And it turns out this builder is based out of Birmingham. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And so I dove in deeper. Like, let me see what else they're building, because I'm trying to judge this builder. And once I saw, oh yeah, they're over in Liberty Park. They're building over in Inverness, up on Eagles Ridge. And I was like, I know these areas and I know they're building over there. This is a quality builder, right? This isn't builders that build those types of neighborhoods put thought into the build, into the neighborhood. And I will say that's really important. Some of your big national builders, I'm not going to call names, but some of those bigger national builders, they don't put a lot of thought into the neighborhood layout, the amenities, the green spaces. You know, they're a lot of times trying to put as many homes in that area as they can.
Got you. So it's like kind of fast, kind of almost to the point where they have their own templates. They want to just kind of throw them out there.
Put them up fast as they can. Yeah. But builders that build in certain areas, they know that people who are buying in those areas are kind of expecting a certain type of personality and charm to the neighborhood. Right. And so the neighborhood we're building in, you drive in, there's a lake, there's, it's just well thought out with green spaces and multiple entrances to the neighborhood that all have a nice sign. It looks nice when you drive into it. Right. And so that's one of the reasons we went with this builder.
Nice. So you told me before we got on here, you told me that because last week I did talk about those construction loans, but you said you actually used your VA loan to fund it. I did. So how did that work?
I did. Actually, I mean, it was pretty simple. I will say one of the good things is having good people around you, a good team, a good loan officer, a good real estate agent is so key. Because they make everything just easy for you. It's like, okay, no, don't worry, just do this. And so that's what we did. Our agent was really good, and she just kind of really kind of pointed us in the right direction of, okay, this is what you need to do. And so it is a construction loan, but we're not. It's kind of in the background because it's a VA. The VA, all that stuff is kind of just handled. But yeah, from a standpoint of how the loan is being done, yeah, it's a typical construction loan.
So are you able to roll in the mortgage for the house into, like, is it kind of connecting, or is it just kind of standalone? Is all connected together?
Yeah. So it's just at the end. Matter of fact, this is one thing we didn't realize. We're not even locked into our rate yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it was so far out. They was like, we can't lock you in yet. And so we're still waiting. And it's kind of been good because rates had kind of started to go up and now they're back down again. And so we're excited, like, okay.
Yeah.
Might get that
a little gamble, but it's working in your favor.
Exactly. I mean, because it could have went the other way. We could be looking at 4.5% type rates, which is still really low when you think about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, right now you're talking about 2.6, 2.7.
It's really good. Really good.
Yes.
So shifting to the actual physical process of it, how has that been for you? Because I imagine you're not really in there banging on no plywood or anything like that yourself. So you're really just watching it. How's that going?
Yes, it is. It's like a kid waiting on Christmas morning, right? Because you see it coming. It's in the process. And you're just waiting. You're so excited. But the process from the start, I will say, some people have said it's a stressful process, and it's really going to depend on your personality. I love homes. I'm an HGTV type of person.
Yes.
This is my opportunity to do my design kind of deal, and I shouldn't leave my wife out. It was our design.
Yeah, please don't leave my cousin out. Yeah.
But so the builder, they had a book that they gave you with all their design options in it. And so basically I knew our layout. I made a spreadsheet based on room, and we made all the choices based on room in the spreadsheet. So when we got time to go to the actual design center, because when you're building the house, you have an appointment to go to the design center to pick out all of your finishes. It's like a 3-4 hour appointment. And we finished in 2 hours because we were so organized when we went in there. We knew everything we wanted. We had the spreadsheets. And so for us, it was a really easy and smooth process. But some people can be overwhelmed because there are a lot of choices to make, you know. But about preparing beforehand, before you go to the design center, because if you go to the design center unprepared, you only have a certain amount of time in there. And so some people start to feel rushed, they start to feel panicked, but we kind of went in there with our decisions already made. So it's more kind of just confirming that's really what we want to go with. Because you can see it in a book, but then you see it in person, you might change your mind.
Yeah, you know? It's to your backdrop. That is actually the template or the model for the house that you're gonna have.
Yeah, this is the model home for the floor plan that we chose. So yes.
Nice. So it's interesting. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you were saying as far as that, you know, it can be stressful depending on how much you prepare. Honestly, that's no different than if you're just going to shop for a house that's already standing. Like if you 100%. Don't prepare, knowing what you're doing, then it's going to be stressful. So that's good to know that it really is not much of a difference. You're going to have to work at it either way. It's just really cool for people to know that, hey, this is an option out there. You can build your house from the ground up, have your dream home, and it still be kind of similar to the same process as if you were out here. It's just in the nature of this unique seller's market where it's like you kind of getting beat out a lot. This is an alternative.
Yep.
So my next question to you is, well, of course, it seems like you would do this again, right? If you had the choice, you would absolutely do this
Absolutely.
Again. Now, people may assume when they think about building their house, they think that that's something that people, more affluent people, will do. Like, oh, we're building our house. You know, you're thinking, what? That sounds like some fancy stuff. Would you recommend this to your average Joe person, even your first-time home buyer that's getting ready to jump into it?
Absolutely, because every neighborhood has different price points. So, yeah, you might have somebody that's at a high price point that's building some big house on the corner, but there's always going to be that starter home, that 3-2 option that to get into the neighborhood that you can build from scratch, choose your finishes. You want that white kitchen, so go ahead and choose that white kitchen. You know, instead of walking in a house that's already, you know, existing and saying, well, we kind of like it, or yeah, it'll work. You know, this is something you just have to be patient because they have to build it.
Yeah,
that's what makes it like Christmas. We drive by like every day. Right. You know, we're so excited, but as far as doing it again, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I imagine if you are a renter right now, you're getting ready to buy a home and your lease isn't up for a few months, this is a great opportunity to go ahead and get started on that because you got to wait for it to be built anyway. So when your lease is up, your brand new home is waiting on you. So that's really, really good to know. That's really good to know. Before I let you go, are there any other just little tidbits about the building process that you can think of that you want to share with people?
Man, that's a good question. I guess say be prepared, do your homework, and what Marshall said. Yes. But I mean, I'll say this because this kind of surprised us because of the way the market goes. When you build a house, you get locked into your price. Well, over time, we know what happens in the housing market over time. It goes up.
Right.
So the house isn't even finished yet, but because we got it locked in so early, we already have equity in the house, which blew my mind. Yeah. I was like, man, that's a great thing. I never thought about that point, you know.
And that's what it's about, getting that equity.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That's a great alternative.
So I would say if you like HGTV and you like picking out your own finishes and just being creative and designing the kitchen the way you want it and choosing the wainscoting and the dining room the way you want it, build your house. It's a good experience. It's a fun experience.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cousin, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for
anytime.
I appreciate you so much. So if you're interested and this is something that you're thinking about, please feel free to click the link for my Calendly. I can never say this word. correctly. Calendly in my description box below to schedule a consultation. We can talk about your options to see. We can look into land and areas that you may be interested in. This is an alternative. If you're wanting to be a homeowner, there are ways to do it. You just got to be creative. But that is all I have for today, y'all. Much love. Take care, and I will talk to you later.